Hey y'all, last war of the season here against NewN. This does decide top 10 for both of us concerned. At this point, top 3 is out of our reach. It was definitely within our reach this season, but you know, a death here, a death there. Life happens. Our goal is top 10, so we're not going to get too concerned about it. We start off with this Ultron fight. And I have, funnily enough, I think maybe the first time I've actually been auto-blocked and parried before giving clarity up all season. So that's what I get for going medium-light instead of light-medium. Definitely going to cost me some potions there. Completely unnecessary. But I also think that this Ultron is pretty simple here, so I'm really not concerned. Just going to go ahead and throw this. Despair is going to do a ton of work for us. These debuffs are going to be very real. Ultron also has very short specials, so it's pretty easy to work around them with Vox. Here we go ahead and convert back. So we fully expect him to heal up here, right? But we're just going to throw them right back into degens and rely on Despair and how many of them there are to finish this fight. There we go. So cost myself a potion right at the start with being dumb, but no harm. We move on to Domino here. The important thing to note is to just not parry and not heavy, right? Because that is, those are the only two ways that Prowler can get debuffs here, right? The parry stun and the incinerate debuff on heavy. As long as we don't do that, we stick to baiting heavies, sidesteps, then we're all good. The falter's passive, the ruptures are all passive. There's nothing else that we have to be concerned about. Other than, of course, Domino just generally being rude and having block penetration. We are going to go for the special one here first, but we are trying to make sure that we push her up to about 1.9 bars of power so that we ramp properly. And here's the special one. Yeah. Notice I don't use up the... Oh, right, the special one does have taunt. I forgot, so we are going to do that. That's okay. That was part of the plan. We knew that it wouldn't be that long of a regen to work around, and it is worth getting that pursuit up just to have a little bit extra safety. I'm normally quite good about playing around her evade, and even about not parrying afterwards. But this is exactly the node where you really don't want to be wrong about that. You really do not want to accidentally parry her after an evade and then oops, she's unblockable. And so we did throw the special one to get the pursuit, which was much longer than the regen, right? She did go unblockable, but the unblockable was a manageable length and fully where we expected it, as opposed to if we had not thrown the special one and gotten surprised, it's possible the unblockable could have come at a moment when we weren't ready for it. Small mistake there I want to call out. I shouldn't have done a longer combo. I should have just mediumed into the special 2. It would have had enough reach, and that way we wouldn't have risked pushing her over a bar into Lucky, where she could have potentially evaded my special 2. We move on to Absorbing Man here. This is going to be a pretty clean Quicksilver fight. Despair is going to control the healing. And basically we just build up to a detonation where we make sure that he is not in Uru and we're good to go. Pretty much all of our damage, I think literally all of our damage, is physical because we don't have access to any heal reversal here. And so that 80% physical resistance in Uru form is a real problem. But as long as we can avoid that, then there is no problem. So we're just going to be building up whiplashes, taking it easy, heavy countering to control forms where we can, and making sure that we refresh those whiplashes. So I just go for it here with a medium, light, medium into special 1. Could have built some more, but I also just lock in the loss there. Because we have so much access to Despair. I'm not really worried about his missing health regen recouping a lot of health. So it's worth it to cash out, and then you see that we just use the trauma to close out there before he can go back into a form. We had somebody else take the arcade, so we skip ahead to this Prowler. I've taken this node before. Last time I took this node, I was very dumb and just early dexed the special 2 and almost cost myself the fight. So we're going to be a little more careful here and just lock in the block damage. We're not fighting with Vox again after this, and so their health doesn't matter. Let's just be careful. I could have and should have gone for a heavy there, to keep the falter off myself. It's not a big deal, but it would have kept us away from the corner. Here I am going to go for it so that we just don't lose even more tempo by getting the falter on us. Notice we still cannot punish specials because we don't have the vigilance up yet, and Prowler will place a falter on us if we punish his specials. Now we have the vigilance, we're good to go. We are making sure to block the first hit of the specials. I'm just not taking any chances. It would be nice to reconvert these regens, but the way he's playing, that's fine. It is much more important to hold on to the vigilance and generally take our time. We can re-ramp, not a problem at all. Just respect the power efficiency and hold on to our miss counter. Notice I did actually dex that special too, but I was very sure of the timing. I'm just generally being more careful here than I was the last time I took this. This special 2 doesn't quite kill, although that crit is nice, but it will. We can just let these tick. We don't have to bother at all. I do hit once, but the fight's over. We move on to Killmonger here with Prowler. This is a fight we've sent in other battle groups, but not in mine just yet. But the duels made me very confident in it. You have access to the Incinerate immediately, even if he is a jerk and tries to put brute force on you. It will give him a lot of power, but that's okay because you can parry freely, because the Incinerate turns off the stun shield. And when he finally throws his specials, he'll be locked to 0, which makes it much more easy to deal with reverb as well, right? Because reverb, remember, reflects damage based on how much power Killmonger has when it's activated. And so, in general, he's going to have less power when he activates it because of that drain after his special activations. We keep the Incinerate up for when we throw the special 2 with the falter. We get a bunch of detonate damage, and things generally go well. Every time he throws a special, we go for a punish with the heavy because he will automatically be at 0 power, and so we can get the Incinerate up, put the stun shield on cooldown, parry, and just generally get control of the fight. Of course, that active Incinerate is also giving us power for polka dot power, and we're good to go. I did invulnerability boost for that fight rather than use an attack bonus, both because advanced power boost. Both because advanced power boosts are so precious this season, I was actually at 0, and because I figured I had enough control of that fight, I had enough power. The risk was me messing up to Killmonger from the top rope and getting one shot by a special 2, because I was punching up with a 6-star. And so that's all I was focused on controlling. We move into this Wong boss fight. Quicksilver basically answers everything Wong does. We have to worry a little bit about the power gain and the unstoppable at the beginning, but that's going to go away soon. We try to make sure that we dex that last hit of the special 1 because it will handle whatever his most recent spell is. He does currently have the spell that gives him physical resistance kind of locked in, but it's going to expire soon, so we're not concerned about it. And we're just going to keep dexing that special 1 to remove it. We now have 2 withers up, so we are basically good to go on if he charges heavy. We don't have to worry about the power gain. We use the special 2 here, but make sure we don't detonate into it because we're trying to hold on to this trauma and stack it, right? We're pushing him to enough specials that we can kind of rely on the pause. Wong is special 1 happy enough that I have pretty good hope of holding on to that trauma until we get to our next special 2. I did make a small mechanical mistake there in just not being able to dex that special 1, so now he's building energy a little more quickly. This one is kind of important to dex, so that was a mistake. But there, I get rid of the of the spell that gives physical resistance at the same time that I use the Striker, which gives a physical vulnerability. So now I feel like we are actually cooking with gas, and I do medium, light, medium into my special 2. I have 2 trauma up, and so that detonation does a ton of damage. That's exactly what I was going for. Even with 4 physical resistance buffs up from adaptive, we do a bunch. We bait out a heavy here to control energy without having to go for our own heavy. I get hit for reasons. I don't know, I'm not going to worry about that. The fight is very much under control. We have 1 trauma paused. We basically just need to get to another special 2. I go for a 5-hit combo there, and now I'm just looking for another opening. Medium, light, medium into special 2. Double trauma. Way overkill. Yeah, very, very clean Quicksilver fight. Like I said, he answers basically everything but the physical resistance, and that's not nearly enough to stop him. And as you can see, that means that we finished the season on a donut. We did end up winning that war, and that put us in 5th overall. Really, really happy with the Alliance's performance this season. Like I said, definitely could have been podium again if we had just tightened up a little bit in a couple key wars, but that's the way it goes. And we just crushed it. Not super excited about Sigs on Falcon, but it is what it is. Gives us more Titan shards. And then we are going to open a Titan. Speaking of here, obviously I want my own characters the most. Patriot, Serpent, Luke. Not going to be sad about a Destroyer dupe. It's not immediately useful for us because my battle group does already place a rank 3, but Destroyer is tactic this next saga, and so I'm sure I'm going to find places to be happy about that. But yeah, overall, just a great season. Didn't get podium again, but did lock in top 5, and it just kind of felt like we were firing on all cylinders. Battle Group 2 set a new Alliance record for 5 donuts within the season. Sorry, for those of you who don't know, a donut just refers to getting 150 attack bonus, meaning 0 deaths. But the thing is, that record at 5 was set with both Battle Group 1 and Battle Group 3 coming in just behind at 4 donuts each. So it felt really, really good this season. Planning was great. I had a vacation for part of it. Huge shout out to both Sim and Will for really coming into their own as planners. And it just felt like all 3 of us had each other covered, right? Each of them led full plans. We all kind of finished each other's work in places. It felt really great this season. And then everybody in the battle group really stepped up, conquered tough fights. When people died to things, they came back and handled them in successive wars. It was just a lot of growth, and it was really, really cool to see, both as an officer and as a leader of the Alliance overall. Yeah, it's great to be an SSx. So, on that note, it's going to be a bit of a break before war videos, but keep an eye out for more spotlights with context, because we are coming up on September, and there are going to be champions to talk about. And keep an eye out for my streams. Hope to see some of y'all there, but until then, thanks so much for watching, and take care.